We are back, and here we are at Panther Stadium. Before we get started here, let's go over the keys to the game. I'm going to have our analyst here talk a little bit about them, but first and foremost, for the Big Macs, got to stop the run.
Absolutely. St. Clair has really made their mark on the whip here, especially in the 5A grouping, running the ball. Dante Corey has really exploded onto the scene. The UPenn recruit has kind of become the go-to guy in a backfield that has been by committee over the past few years. So if Canon-Mac really wants a chance against a very strong St. Clair team, they need to stop the run.
When the turnover battle's a key one, you're an underdog on the road. I think that sort of is a universal one, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's still very early in the season. Both teams are still creating their identity, determining who their best players are and who their go-to players are on the perimeter. So taking care of the ball is going to be the most important thing for Canon-Mac.
Control the line of scrimmage for the Panthers, and you saw it in spades last week on both sides of the ball.
You really did, and the success of the team last year was really the core of the offensive line and how much experience they had. The big question going into this year was, can St. Clair reload? And obviously they've been able to do that. They had great success both passing and running the ball, and that all starts with the line of scrimmage last week.
And prevent the big plays. It's sort of the converse of the win and the turnover battle. You know, what you want to do right away is stay on schedule and not allow, to get behind a kick return, a pick six, something like that.
And Canon-Mac does have a very athletic quarterback in Ty Jansma. We were talking about him in the beginning of the broadcast. Talented basketball player, can get out on the perimeter, make those throws on the run. So if St. Clair can really keep him in check, I think they have a great shot tonight.
So those were your keys to the game. We've got the coin toss out there. The captains for the Panthers on senior night. We've got number 4, the receiver, Nico DeRazio. Your quarterback, Ethan Hellman. As Alex mentioned, the bell cow, our tailback, Dante Corey. And big number 70, Mason Geyer, the Davidson recruit. Should give a shout-out, obviously, to number 74, Reese Perrine, out for the season with a torn ACL. He would probably be out there. Was an unbelievable lineman last year. I hope Reese is hanging in there mentally. For the Big Macs, you've got number 1, Ty Jansma, who's only a junior, but it's impressive to his leadership capabilities if he's out there as a junior, as one of the captains. And then Beckham Freud, the linebacker and running back, number 55, is the other captain. So I didn't quite hear the way the coin toss or anything went, but the Panthers deferred last week, and I thought that was interesting because last year they were a powerful defensive team, but they lost their entire front 3 or front 4, and I was really wondering how that would go, and they were great last week on the defensive side of the ball. All right, so it looks like, I can't tell. I thought I didn't see Jacobo out there, so maybe it. So it looks like the Panthers are on the return right now. So it looks like they will receive. Back to return, we have number 31, Luca Corey, and Josh Schneider, the sophomore, are the up men, and Dante Corey, who we have mentioned, is the deep returner. And we've got Drew Sanderson and Beck Shields, number 10 and number 9. Also there in the game. We've got number 14, sophomore receiver Evan Smirnu. We've got 30, Ethan Blau, who's one of the nickel corners. 0, Max Nofi, who's another one of the seniors. We've got Anthony Razzo, 11, defensive back, who caught a big touchdown yesterday. Randy Yan, 18, one of the receivers, and 19, Logan Lipinski. That is your starting special team here for the Panthers. And to kick it off for the Big Macs, number 3, Reese Mentz. The Big Macs are in white, going from right to left on your screen. Panthers in their home blacks, going left to right, and here we go. Good kick deep into the end zone, shall be a touchback. Alex, what do we expect to see from the Panther O here, do you think?
Preseason, Gavin, the big question was, can Ethan Hellman become the focal point of this offense? Last year, whether it was necessarily justified or not, they did rely heavily on the run game. Last week, I think Ethan answered all questions. Coming out, throwing 4 touchdowns. Obviously, Nico DeRazio, the Brown recruit, was tremendous, having 3 of those touchdowns. So we can see if he can build on his momentum.
Yeah, Ethan was absolutely spectacular in terms of how quickly he got the ball out, his decision-making, and obviously his accuracy. He is such a competitive kid. He's been battling Lyme's disease, and you wouldn't have even known it. All right, first down. Fake. Throws out to Nico. He's got some space here. Bryce Jones gets a block. 30, 35, out of bounds just across the 40. They used that bubble screen early last week, and once again, big gainer, about 20 yards on first down.
Great read by Hellman there. DeRazio comes in motion across the field, and he has outside leverage on number 2 covering him. Took the corner and a nice gain.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been doing a lot of RPO stuff last week. I expect to see it, and they are really leaning on their senior Ethan Hellman to make good decisions. He is doing just that. So we've got another first down at the 40 here. This is Dante Corey. Goes right into the line, keeps his feet, but not going to get much. The guy whose name we called, you're going to hear it a lot, TJ Sabatucci, number 87, the Buffalo recruit, in the backfield for a loss of 2. Well, we talked about stop the run, Alex. That was quite a surge from the Big Macs.
Absolutely, and it puts St. Clair in a tough position with 2nd and 12.
Yeah, they stayed on schedule really well last week. Don't want to get behind the sticks, but here we go. 2nd and 12 here. This is DeRazio, short motion. He's looking near side, got Anthony Razzo. Nice job getting a lot of it back all the way to the Big Mac 47. Going to get a gain of 9. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Very smooth play by Hellman. Not trying to get it all back at once, taking what the defense gives him. He had open access to the boundary, a nice 8-yard route.
He and Razzo have good chemistry. They hit a big play, a 50-yarder last week against the Big Macs, and look to continue with the junior. All right, 3rd and, let's say, 3 here. DeRazio in motion. They're going to pitch it to him. Gets a block from Dante Corey. He's going to get the first down just across the 50 into Big Mac territory. First down, Panthers.
Gavin, not a huge play, but the right play. Great kick-out block by Dante Corey, and they got just enough for the first down.
Let's set the offensive lineup while we're here. We've talked about Hellman and Corey. DeRazio at receiver. Bryce Jones, number 1. Drew Sanderson is kind of in the slot there, number 10. And looks like Randy Yan, number 18, is at the top of the screen. 1st and 10, fakes to Corey. Here's the slant. Got Bryce Jones. Got about 9 there to the 40-yard line.
Great play. That was a little dragon concept slant flat, but unfortunately we have a flag.
Yeah, it looks like a lineman downfield. We've got to talk about the O-line here for the Panthers. We got Big Ryan Robbins at the right tackle. The senior, Chase Kazmarzik, number 75 at the guard.
5 yards.
Big Mason Geyer, 70, is our center. Grady Elias, a junior, at the left guard. And Big Kenny Davis. Congratulations to Kenny Davis, who committed to Grove City today. So, that's a big moment when you decide where you are going to college. And the Panthers got 1st and 15 here. They've been really going to the air here, Alex. All right. This is Josh Schneider, and it looks like a little bit of Wildcat here. He's looking for room to run. Not a whole lot there. Sabatucci among others. Just about a gain of 1 or 2 there for the Panthers.
And despite it being 1st and a mile, where St. Clair is on the field, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's not 4-down territory, especially if they're able to cross the 50 here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. They do have an all-world punter in Jacobo Echeverria, but the way the offense has been clicking, I don't put it past him. This is Hellman. 2nd and 13. Fakes to Corey. Quick screen here. This looks like Randy Yan, the senior. And Yan's going to get it all there. I believe he got to the lead stick. He did, to the 38 of the Big Macs. First down, Panthers.
St. Clair definitely taking advantage of the off coverage. They're playing Canon-McMillan playing 1 high safety, but their corners aren't necessarily pressing the guys on the perimeter. So anytime you can get those quick hitting tunnel screens, those bubble screens, take advantage of a quick 5.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really taking what the defense gives him. Ethan is making great decisions, which I love to see. All right, first down here into Big Mac territory. He was looking for Jones down the field. They're playing a little bit of a soft coverage. Oh, now look at him. Throws it up. Nice catch from DeRazio. He did a little bit of ad-lib in there, gets it in a tight window, and Nico goes up and gets it. What a start to the season for the Brown commit.
Awesome poise by Hellman. That looked like an RPO gone wrong. It looked like at the bottom of the screen there was going to be some kind of shot. Throw it up to Bryce Jones, giving him a chance. But great job by the offensive line not making their way downfield for a penalty. Oh,
Bad exchange. Hellman does a nice job picking it up so they don't lose the ball or anything like that, but they do lose about, let's say, a yard, but live to fight another day. The Panther offense has been clicking, and the way they're throwing it was paramount to protect the ball.
That'll happen sometimes when you're moving really quickly, especially when the pace after a big play. So good job by Hellman getting on the ball and not making a bad play worse.
Yeah, so it looks like they're putting an extra lineman in the game. Their swing lineman, Jamie Garner, who he's also the long snapper, number 45, coming in and kind of like a double tight end look. He's going to be the extra tackle. So, kind of a heavy set here. 3 receivers. This is Dante Corey. He's going to cut inside, take what the defense gives him for a gain of about 3. That'll set up 3rd and goal from the 8, it looks like, for the Panthers. So what do you think here, Alex? We've seen a lot of sort of wide receiver screen, some slant stuff, but obviously we're a little more condensed here with where we are on the field.
Yeah, you look at the top of the field, Gavin. You see the 2x2 with no press coverage. I wouldn't be shocked if you see some kind of pick play.
All right. Hellman is running out of room quickly. He does a nice job to Deke. He's going to try to get around the end. He does, but he's only going to get to about the 7. Pressure from the Big Macs breaks it up, and it looks like it's going to be a field goal attempt here for the Panthers. Get a little blitz there, it looked like, from the Big Macs.
Yeah, good stop by the Big Macs. I mean, there were a few big pass plays on that drive, and the fact that they're holding him to a field goal at most is pretty impressive.
All right, so the good news is the Panthers have an excellent kicker. Jacobo Echeverria, a senior, who you're going to see do some serious damage on kickoffs, and he didn't punt last week, but he's really good at that too. He is from the far hash here. This is a pretty steep angle. 25-yarder. Kick is up. Kick is good. Snap is true, and good hold from Durazio. And the Panthers strike first with 7:36 to go in the first quarter. Upper St. Clair leads 3-0. Got to give a shout-out to my first text of the day, Mr. Eric Render, watching from up in New York. Coach is next to me, so Coach and Pam are sitting next to me, but Eric is one of our most loyal watchers, and I appreciate you, man. I also, there's an interesting face down there on the Canon-McMillan sideline as a volunteer coach. Mr. Marcus Gailey is down there as a volunteer assistant for the Big Macs, so it's good to see Marcus. So what'd you think of the first drive altogether there, Alex? Pretty good?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought that there were some big third down conversions, especially third and medium to long. But the issue was it got a little bit sloppy once they got into the red zone, and obviously they made it out with a field goal. Great kick, great operation, but hopefully they can clean that up.
All right, this is sort of the key for me, and not Jacobo booting it through the end zone. Just see how the defensive line, they were so stout last week. I spoke too soon. He went for a little bit of a short kickoff. This is Cimaroli, one of the receivers, and he's quick. He gets to the outside. Drew Sanderson does a nice job in pursuit, gets him down about the 22-yard line. Shout
out to Quail Hill Dry native, Drew Sanderson.
Yes, sir. One of Alex's neighbors. Drew is a very, very athletic kid, originally from Canada. All right, let's set the scene for the Panther defense. We've got Anthony Bunn, son of Bobby Bunn, former Dartmouth and class of 97 Panther. We've got Big Will Stoll, number 55, the sophomore. If you're wondering, yes, that is Nate Stoll's youngest brother. His brothers, Nate and Charlie, played for a long time here. And Mason Geyer, number 70, is the other down lineman. 1st and 10. Jansma under center. He's going to hand. Now the back gets through, does a pretty nice job. That's number 20, Mason Calgaro, a sophomore. He's going to get about 2. The interesting part about the Big Mac run game is their best running back from last season, Troy Stimpson, decided not to come out for football this year. Apparently he's a baseball recruit, but that hurts them a bit. So they get about 2, let's say, or 3 there. Not bad contained. Let's call this 2nd and 7-ish. Got a man in motion. He's going to get it again. Oh, there's a big gain there. Big hole, and he's going to get across to the 35 for a first down. This is what we worried about. They're a big, strong offensive line team.
And Coach Render, as soon as he's seeing this under center work, pulls out his binoculars. He's loving it.
So Panthers going to have to be a little more stout at the point of attack. Let's set the rest of the defense. We got John Banbury, number 6, at the middle linebacker. Anthony Razzo, outside linebacker or safety. We've got Nevin Siniawoski, number 34, the senior, at the other middle. And Beck Shields, number 9, who's coming to our near side as the other outside linebacker here. All right, we said they have got to control the line of scrimmage. Big Mac's doing a good job early. Calgaro again. This time, Banbury in, making the tackle. Only got a gain of about 2 there, so a little better from the Panthers.
Very positive from the Canon-Mac offense. They are getting some decent push on the offensive line. Obviously, one of our big keys to the game was the offensive line in the trenches on both sides. And it's been a very pro-style offense, Gab. I haven't really seen this in quite some time. They have not taken a snap from not under center.
No, they're going heavy and they're banging it at us, and we'll see how the Panthers adjust. This is not what they're used to seeing. You know, they saw spread last week. This is some smash mouth. There is Anthony Bunn, big number 99. I think he was looking for Sabatucci. Probably got it far enough out that you don't have a grounding situation, but good anticipation off the snap from Anthony Bunn.
And you knew that was coming from Jansma at some point. If you lead off the game with that many runs, you're trying to set up some kind of play action, double move, make a big gash play. Great play by Bunn to break that up.
So what we're looking for here, Sabatucci, the big tight end, number 87, but in the pass game, their man is number 10, Ethan Campoli. Had 107 yards receiving and a touchdown last week, and that is him to the top of the screen. Campoli is the guy you've got to watch. Sabatucci's in the slot here down to the left, trips left. Jansma's back. Now he's going to hand it off. They're going to go wide. It's Anthony Bunn again. Anthony Bunn, what a series from the big fella. His dad was a heck of a football player, and AB saying, hey, the apple does not fall far from the tree. 3-yard loss, and the Panthers force a punt.
Great job getting everything back on track. Anthony Bunn just absolutely destroying that drive on his own. Tremendous job by the St. Clair defense, and that push by the defensive line is going to be key.
This is a dangerous situation if you're an opponent. Nico D'Orazio, number 4 for the Panthers, is the guy you do not want to see with the ball in his hands. He's a big play guy.
And he's going to get a shot.
Here he goes. He does not. Oh, boy. Did Snyder get him in the back? Nope. Here comes D'Orazio. He's got some space. He cuts it inside. He's at the 40, 35, 30, 25, all the way down to the Big Mac 15. Like I said, you do not want to kick it to Nico D'Orazio. Big play guy. Josh Snyder did a nice job getting just enough, but not drawing a block in the back call.
Short kick, low kick by Canon-Mac. Didn't really give their gunners a chance to go down and make a play. Great return by Nico D'Orazio.
You know, I read too many of those lists and stuff that the internet people do about your players and things like that, and I get offended for my guys because I get defensive. This kid D'Orazio is one of the best players in 5A. I guarantee it. And he doesn't get enough love, and that's fine. He's going to the school he wants to go to, but people are going to know who this kid is by the end of this season. All right, so 1st and 10 from the Big Mac 15. Great field position for Hellman in the offense. Ethan fakes. He's going to go to Bryce Jones. That's a great catch. Wow, nice hand catch on the sideline. Going to get about 9, I think.
Great throw by Hellman, too. Turns his head to the left, moves whatever defender possibly off, and puts it only where Bryce Jones can catch it.
Yeah, Hellman's really throwing a beautiful ball. You know, he again, because they ran the ball so much last year, I just think he's underrated at this point. The kid can throw. He's competitive. I love the kid. All right, so about 2nd and let's say 1 or 2 here. Hellman is rolling to his left. He's got Elias blocks him. He tried to make him miss. He's going to lean forward, but he lost a few there. Going to say a loss of 2 or 3. It's going to set up about 3rd and 4, let's say.
Good decision by Hellman. Anytime you have one of those sprint out plays, it has a finite number of time that it can work. You're supposed to take 3 to 5 steps, throw it either to the outbreaking corner or the underneath. But good job just getting what he could.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes we laugh. It is week 1, you know. There's still some things to get ironed out. This is Corey. Dante, 1 cut and go. It's going to be close. Oh, no. Bryce Jones' catch was a first down. I apologize. I was watching the scoreboard. So that was 2nd down. So we had Bryce Jones' was a first down. The last play was 1st and goal. That was 2nd and goal. So we've got 3rd and 7, or 3rd and goal from the 7 here. I shouldn't watch the scoreboard. I should be watching what the referees are doing. My apologies. So what do you think here, Alex? This was the time they failed on this last time.
If you look at 18 at the top of the field, he is one-on-one Randy Yan. I wouldn't be surprised if he gave him a shot.
There it is. It's Yan. Boy, there was a lot of lot of grabbing there. Boy, they don't usually give you on the one-and-one sort of jump ball stuff a lot of, you're not likely to get an interference call or anything like that, but there was a lot of grabbing there. So, unfortunately, what you don't want to have happen is get all the yards they're getting and not score touchdowns. And you got another field goal attempt here. It's a short one. It's another. This one's about 23, 24 yards, but the Panthers' red zone offense has sputtered a little bit so far.
And the back shoulder fade is a very, very delicate throw. You don't want to put too much on it so it zips past the receiver, but you also need to put it outside enough to give the receiver the only ability to catch the ball.
All right. Gardner with a good snap. DeRazio with the hold. Jacobo, kick is up. Kick is good. With 3:12 to go in the first quarter, the Panthers have scored 2 field goals, lead 6-0 over the Big Macs. Got some shout-outs here. Love hearing from all you guys. Class of 2024, my main man, Luca Baird. Man can pitch, and I'm glad he still pays attention. Big supporter of St. Clair Athletics to this day. Luca, I miss you. Hope all is well with you. I saw him last week at the game before he left for school. My main man, hammering, Harry Durenzi. He's actually lives in Cannonsburg, but don't worry, he's not rooting for the Big Macs or anything. He has no loyalty there. It's not where he's from. But Harry, you were my man. Thanks a lot. He's probably watching the Buccos right now. He's probably got it on split screen. I don't blame him. Skeens is throwing. And then, of course, one of our biggest fans, Lauren Anderson, class of 97. He was shouting out Bob Bunn because that was his classmate. His son Anthony making noise. He and his daughter Aviel are watching. Hope you and Miss A are enjoying the broadcast so far, my man. All right. Back to the action here. The Panthers, I spoke too soon last time. Jacobo, I don't even think he almost kicked one through the uprights at Mount Lebanon. Every kick he had was a kick touchback by a mile. I don't know, maybe that was strategic, like he was doing trying to pin him or something. Because that's weighty. That was every kick last week. I don't know, either he missed it or he was doing something strategic. All right, so Panthers are back, second possession for the Big Macs. I did not introduce the secondary last time. I didn't get to them, but DeRazio and Snyder are the safeties, and it looks like Caffrey Duplessis, the senior, is at the one corner. It looks like Ethan Blau, number 30, is at the other corner. I think he was a little banged up last week and didn't see as much time. But, Panthers, the one thing I liked last week is they played a lot of kids. Establishing depth this time of year is really a big deal. All right, this is Jansma. He's got a sidecar left. Now this looks like Cimaroli in motion here, and they are all over it. Duplessis, Sheegan Siniawoski, Beck Shields, and John Banbury. Nothing doing at all, not fooled, and 5-yard loss for the Big Macs.
And great play by the defense staying in their lanes. It's very easy to veer off inside and give the offensive perimeter player the angle on the jet sweep there. So great job by the St. Clair defense.
About the only tweak you could have is Duplessis went in for the kill shot as opposed to wrapping him up. I saw Coach Render, he was shuddering a little bit there. Let's get him to the ground. All right, 2nd and 15-ish.
And Canon-Mac finally in the shotgun.
Yeah, this is the same. Oh, that's a nice little crossbuck there, but Banbury was not fooled. And he got about 4. Not a bad gain, but, Banbury was not fooled at all, and he came up to the hole and filled hard on Calgaro.
And we're sitting 3rd down and 12 inside your own 20. I wouldn't be surprised if Canon-Mac decided to not necessarily punt right now, but maybe a draw or a screen pass, something to try to get that very tenacious rush off guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Alex, because we talked about it. What they cannot have happen is big turnovers and things. The field already flipped on a punt return, and the defense has done a nice job holding when it mattered, but you cannot have, a game-changing turnover play. It'll be interesting to see how conservative Jansma is here. Jansma is going for the screen here. Oh, and boy, it was going nowhere anyway. Beck Shields was all over it, but that was almost a pick six on a deflection.
Yeah, that was kind of doomed from the start because St. Clair was playing hard corners, meaning they had a cover 2 shell, 2 safeties. Randy Yan was in the game as the nickel DB, and they had the corners pressed. So anytime you have that, those bubble screens are tough because you already have a defender at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the Panther defense, what I've liked so far, in addition to being kind of stout at the point of attack and how they've flowed to the ball, is their organization's been, you see in the early weeks of the season mistakes. I think their organization's been really good so far. This is DeRazio again. He's got a lot of room here. gets to the outside. He's at the 45-40. There's a pretty good tackle, but all the way to the Big Mac 40. Field position has not been a problem so far for the Panthers.
And it's good to see Durazio walk over to the offensive huddle. He did not play a snap on that red zone possession last time, so they'll need him to try to get this drive going, hopefully find the end zone this drive.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. He's got a trainer down there with him. I'm hoping he's not banged up. The one guy they cannot afford to lose on both sides of the ball really is number 4. So he's walking okay. I just he's a tough kid. I do not want to see any sort of issues with him. Interestingly enough, the sophomore Evan Smirnu is in the game, number 14, who's a very talented kid. This is Hellman. This is Smirnu. Catches a good hand catch, gets to the outside, gets about 5. Good first down gain there. It's nice to see the sophomore come right in, make a catch.
That was a throw that you would normally see a 4-year starter make. He looked to the right, to the boundary, and then he threw a hitch to the field. And in high school, the hash marks are so wide. That is a very long throw. That's a very experienced play by Hellman.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The way he's throwing the ball and just the confidence he has right now, it's just really beautiful to watch. Here's Hellman again. He's going outside. This is Bryce Jones. Oh, he made a move. He just slipped. Going to get a first down. Going to get a gain of about 10 to the Big Mac 26. Boy, Hellman has everything going right now, Alex.
And if you look to the top of the field right now, Gavin, you can see that Canon-Mac is playing a soft shell to any receiver that's to the top of the field, to the wide side of the field. And that's what Hellman's taking. That's the past 2 throws. Most high school kids can't make that throw.
Yeah, and he's been right on. Every ball's been right on the money. He's going out wide this time. Another really nice throw, and that is Smirnu. Yeah, it's like he's making a tape right now. Hey, I need some looks here, guys.
And you have to wonder whether or not Coach Junko sees this. Obviously he does, and they're continuing to take the open access throws. But in the second half, if those corners start to creep up, Jones and Durazio are going to have a field day down the field.
Well, that's what they did against Lebo. They kept throwing those hitches and wide receiver screens. Then they did a hitch and go to Anthony Razzo, and it was wide open. So Josh Schneider, number 15, is in the game here again in the slot. He's obviously a big weapon because he can throw and run as well. This is Hellman. He's taking his time, pushing Smirnu forward. Now he's just going to eat it. He was hoping, it looks like he's pointing at somebody. He wasn't sure whether they ran the right route or something, but didn't quite. There's some sort of miscommunication, it looked like.
And that's part of the scramble drill, too. It's only week 2, and it's very early in week 2. We're still not even out of the first quarter of the second game of the season, so they will eventually get that right when it comes down to conference play.
All right, so 3rd and 5, 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Panthers driving again, but you want to start getting 6 here. All right, Hellman looking for the wide receiver screen to Snyder. It off his fingertips, it really didn't look like it was there to begin with. Big Macs, I think we're all over that in terms of diagnosing it. And it looks like it's going to be Jacobo again. This is going to be a much longer kick. And, again, it's a pretty dominant first quarter from the Panthers, but if you have one critique right now, it's they're not getting 6 points.
You have to wonder as well whether or not the off coverage of Canon-Mac is almost hurting Upper St. Clair because, you can't really, the closer you get to the end zone, the tighter the coverage is going to be, and that off coverage is just difficult to play against because they have to keep everything in front of them.
Super interesting point. Durazio in hold. Great kick from Jacobo. Boy, that was a longer field goal, but for him, distance is absolutely no issue there, and he hammers that home from about 36. The Panthers, well, they are up 9-0. That's a good sign. Again, whether it's the off coverage coming back to hurt them as they get closer to the goal line or just some lack of execution, gotta be a little more productive when they get the ball deep in Big Mac territory.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get Dante Corey, on the perimeter, maybe on a screen, a bubble screen, have the receivers block for him, because if Canon-Mac's playing this off coverage even inside the red zone, that will give him the opportunity to find space. So, you have a kid as talented as him and has played as many snaps, games, downs as him. I don't know why you'd use him inside the red zone, or why you wouldn't use him inside the red zone.
Yeah, really good point. Another shout out to my other class of 2024 pitcher, my man Nick Manko. He's at Waynesburg watching the game. Saw him last week as well. That's my guy. Manko, hope all's well, dude. He had good words to say about DeRazio. Said he's a super unselfish type kid, not focused on that stuff. He also pointed out he's a stud in baseball, starting shortstop. Here is Jacobo kicking it deep, and that is easy over the end zone. So it will be a touchback, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Big Macs. Alex, anything you've been able to glean from the first several possessions from the Big Macs offensively?
Well, they haven't really picked the poison yet. They started off in a very pro style, running stretch left, stretch right, ISO, some counter, all from under center. And then they came out in worse field position, out of the shotgun, and really tried to make some quick screens work as well as some downfield passes. But I think they have to use the upfield rush by St. Clair against them. How? I don't know. That's why I'm in the booth and not coaching on that.
Yeah, that's beyond my pay grade. 1st and 10. A little bit of a high snap. Jansma's going to throw. Oh, he's got a slant. So Duplessis had great coverage there. They were looking for Campoli, the guy who made the big plays last week in the pass game, but Panthers had that diagnosed pretty well.
And I'll tell you what, that's probably a makeup call for Randy Yan down in the end zone. That was very blatantly pass interference. Obviously, we are an unbiased stream here, but there was some serious hands going on with that slant, so maybe a makeup call by the ref.
Very handsy.
Absolutely.
But hey, so long as it's consistent, that's what I've always said to officials. So long as I know we can adjust how the game is being called, I'm good. All right, 2nd and 10 here. Jansma again. He's got trips left. Sidecar. The ball's going to go. They are doing a lot of running right now. That's Beck Shields. Really nice tackle, clean tackle on the outside, bringing Calgaro down for a gain of maybe 3.
One thing to keep in mind, Gavin, Owen Rush's helmet, starting offensive lineman for Canon-Mac, just came off, so they have to insert a sub for this play.
Yeah, and you never know. The one area that I never know how deep you might be is depth on the offensive line, defensive line. So that could be a concern. So that is the end of the first quarter. After 12 minutes, the Panthers dominant, maybe not quite on the scoreboard, but certainly in everything else, and they lead the Big Macs 9-0. Another shout out here. My man, Ahmed El Nokali, legend, Princeton basketball star. He was a CV Colt, but we won't hold that against him. His son Adam is an 8th grader who's going to be a stud hooper for us as the beat goes on with St. Clair Hoops. Thanks for watching, boys. Appreciate you guys. It's funny, Alex. You go in cycles, obviously, with everything. And I just feel like athletically right now, St. Clair's in a really good cycle. You see it in football. You see it in a lot of the sports. Obviously, you need the athletes to play your sport. But I love the cycle right now in terms of both the athletes, the culture, the caliber of kids. I just think it's a really impressive group the last several years for the Panthers.
And I think the key is kids are not becoming siloed too early and playing and focusing on one sport. You see so much turnover or cross-reference between basketball, football, baseball, and there's a great connection between all the kids. They grow up playing together, and the fact that they continue playing those sports only helps the program.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, we love the multi-sport guys. 3rd and 6 here. Well, they're blowing it dead. I don't know what's happening here, whether was there a flag thrown or are they just not ready? Coach Junk's out. He's asking what's happening here. I don't know what's happening. It's interesting, Alex. Ever since you pointed out that it was like sort of smash mouth pro style football, we've seen a lot of 4 receiver stuff and like shotgun since then. So I'm not sure why they went away from it. That seemed to be working.
Oh, I think I know what happened. I think they tried to sneak Owen Rush back onto the field after the quarter, and he still has to set out the play. So good gamesmanship by Canon-Mac. I can't blame him.
That's what I'd try to do.
I'd keep an eye on TJ Sabatucci here.
And he is in motion right now, the big Buffalo recruit target. He's looking at him. That's who he's looking for. Oh, no, it's a slant. He's got him. That's Campoli. And Campoli gets about a 20-yard gain. Really nice throw from Ty Jansma on the slant. And he was open cleanly. Very nice ball.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic there, too. There was a crosser by Sabatucci. The curl, obviously, whenever you're looking at a curl flat, you want to see the outside linebacker expand with the flat so that the curl is wide open, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, you can see why this Big Mac team can be dangerous. They've got a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Panthers certainly have to be really good on first and second down. Jansma again in the shotgun. Got his man in motion. It's Campoli. He's got the ball this time. Oh, Banbury. He saw that all the way into the backfield for about a 4-yard loss. That is big John Banbury, and he is all over it.
Well, that's where the experience comes in. You saw number 1 at the bottom of the screen cover the tight end, so we knew that he was an ineligible player. Banbury probably saw that and just went screaming up the gap.
Bands is my guy I go to get scouting reports and things. He's a huge film guy, very bright kid, and Johnny Bands, I appreciate the scouting reports you give me. Other than talking to the coaches, you're my big reference.
He's the only 12-year player in Upper St. Clair history.
When you start as a freshman, it's going to seem like that. 2nd and 13 here for the Big Macs. Another guy in motion. This is pro set, but they movement in the on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage, and going to back him up 5 more, Alex. I should give a shout out to Mike Evans. Mike Evans is Canon-Mac's football coach, and he's had a relapse of cancer, and I feel bad. He had this team all off season, was really looking forward to coming back this year, and battling cancer. Brian DeLallo, who's Bethel Park's former head coach, is at the helm right now, but we wish Coach Evans the very best. As a board member of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, I just hate to hear that stuff. So, Coach Evans, hope you are doing well, hope you're watching. 2nd and 18 here for the Big Macs. Jansma again has 4 wide receivers, split very wide, sidecar left. Thrown, and that's well overthrown. Will Stoll did a really nice job getting in the backfield there and probably rushing him a little bit.
Yeah, anytime you have defenders kind of diving at that front foot, and you can't, not a big step, you don't want to be like a pitcher, but anytime you can't really rotate your hips into the throw, transfer that weight from the back to the front, the ball's going to sail, and you can see that happen to Jansma right there.
Yeah, so this is, we talk about a lot, staying on schedule, winning first and second down. What you do want as the Panthers, what you don't want as the Big Macs is 3rd and 18.
No, on your own side of the field, 3rd and 18 seems like a very long way.
All right, so we got trips right again. We had that slant out of sort of this formation. Now they're going to run a little wide, and there is nothing doing at all. You had a lot of guys there, Banbury in particular, Bunn and Razzo as well, and the Panthers were not fooled. And that was a really nice possession there from the Panthers. After the slant, they got really, really sturdy and going to force a punt here.
You typically don't see speed option to the field for that very reason. There was a lot of space, and playing against an experienced and disciplined team like St. Clair, basically anytime you play the option, you have it's man-to-man coverage, and that's exactly what they did there.
All right, so the last punt from the Big Macs was a really good one. Let's see if they can have another good one. This one's a little bit off, but they're keeping it away from DeRazio, which, that's a great pass. Look at DeRazio. Such a smart play. It got up so he knew he could handle it without much traffic, and that probably saved him 10 yards. All right, so the Panthers will start at their own 45, 9:28 to go in the second quarter. Alex, I got to say something. One of the things I love about Upper St. Clair is, look at this line of people to our left here in this booth right now. You got it all. Obviously talked about Coach Render and his wife Pam, but you have Mike Mascaro, former Panther, also a school board member. You got the Petersons. Angela Peterson's our longtime school member. And then you have Dr. Razzo and his wife, our superintendent. You got Judge Arnone here, and you got Dan Rourke, our boys' principal. It's unbelievable. You feel the love. This is Josh Schneider on the run. He's going to get a first down. He turns it up. Going to get about 11. Nice little play call on the change of pace with the Wildcat.
Yeah, Snyder's kind of the Taysom Hill of the St. Clair offense. He can throw it. He can run it. He'll play D. He'll run down on kicks, and he'll hit you. Big kid, big, strong, physical, downhill runner.
Yeah, he's playing the Dallum role from last year, and it's similar in that they're both quarterbacks. So they are very capable of throwing. You can't just play run. This is going to be Snyder again. This must be his little package. This worked last week well and led to a touchdown. Another good block. That was Dante Corey. Cuts it up. Nice run from Josh Schneider. Gets upfield, gets about, let's say, 12 for another first down for the Panthers. Man down, and they cannot afford another injury on the offensive line. We talked about Reese Perrine. This is Kenny Davis. He was holding his left knee, which we do not want to see. Injury on the field. Timeout. Yeah, you don't want to see injuries at all. And the offensive line is one where they have already lost a 3-year starter, one of their main guys in Reese Perrine. To have another potential offensive lineman lost is very, very scary stuff. We hope Kenny Davis is okay. On the day he committed to Grove City, no less, would be really, really a sad story for the senior. But we will not try to guess or play doctor here. Alex, while we're waiting, anything from the Panther offense that you've seen, particularly on this drive, that you find impressive in terms of an adjustment?
It's amazing to me how many people have touched the ball in this offense and how unselfish the perimeter players are. You play football and you're a receiver, running back, any skill position, you want to have the ball in your hands. You want to be the go-to guy. Obviously, we've seen week 1, Nico DeRazio really carried the torch with 3 touchdowns. But Bryce Jones tonight, very capable, a lot of great catches in the red zone. Dante Corey, while he hasn't had maybe as many carries as we anticipated, has thrown 4 or 5 blocks that have really sprung for first downs on important downs. Third downs, third and long. So it's nice to see the team orientation and how unselfish these guys are on the perimeter, because that just makes everybody else better.
So Coach Robbins has been they're trying to get Jamie Gardner's jersey on. He's the swing tackle we talked about. He's been wearing a tight end's jersey number. Kenny is walking, which is really good to see. Jamie Gardner has been wearing 45 because he's been kind of playing the tight end, sort of a receiver eligible, but he's now going to 54 and he's going to play the actual offensive line position. So it'll be interesting. Looks like he's going to just play straight left tackle. He's also a very capable center. He's the long snapper. So, they have the ability to move Mason and move Chase to tackle. Looks like Jamie's just going to fill in. Hopefully that means Kenny is, coming back at some point here. All right, 1st and 10. Hellman back in the game. He's looking for Jones on the slant. Great ball. Great route. Oh, here's Bryce still on his feet. All the way down to the Big Mac 5. What a dart from Hellman.
Awesome second-level throw by Hellman. Love his eyes. He's never just fixated on the receiver that he's going to go to. He's using his feet and his eyes to move the safety. Great intermediate-level throw there.
Yeah, Hellman is really on top of his game. And that's that soft coverage again. I mean, Jones just ran a slant. He was wide open. All right, see if the Panthers can do a little better in the red zone. It's a slant. Oh, nice read on it. So there you go. Just what you talked about.
That throw is very, very dangerous because the corner doesn't really have anything behind him that he needs to cover. But if Canon-Mac starts to press, that out route in Coach Junko's offense will convert to a go ball. So we may see that over-the-top throw or the back shoulder fade.
It's just so interesting that once they get in the red zone, like you talked about, everything is so much more condensed. That throw has been pitch and catch. Now they're on it this time. So we got a timeout, it looks like. Defensive timeout for the Big Macs with 8:20 to go in the second quarter.
And I love the personnel grouping. I love how Randy Yan, who's 6'3", and Anthony Razzo, who's 6'2", are the 2 outside receivers. I think as you get down into the zone, 1, you want good perimeter blocking. Those are both big kids. They'll be able to hold their own on the perimeter. And 2, it's going to get a little bit chippy, handsy, as you said, Gavin. And anytime you need to throw that jump ball, back shoulder fade, you want a big body. Obviously, DeRazio, Jones, both extremely athletic kids, but they're more of a slot, kind of find the space type of receiver. So you do need a big body down here. And they have 2 out there. So I hope that they take advantage. I saw the corners were up and they're pressing, that we take advantage of that.
Yeah, and you have Dante Corey, who we've not used as much today, but he's obviously a really, really tough kid, tough runner. Let's give you some scores while we have a break. Peters Township up 7-0 on McKeesport. We've got 14-14 South Fayette and Shaler. Just some local section scores. Some teams that the Panthers are going to be seeing soon enough.
So take a peek at DeRazio one-on-one on press coverage.
This is Dante Corey. He's going to get an easy. Great block on the corner there. That was big number 25, Sammy Bunn. So you keep seeing that last name. Sammy Bunn is a freshman, and he is a big, strong, physical kid. He played 8th grade hoops last year. Was a monster. Great block from Sam Bunn.
Love the call. They had the personnel in where they were just going downhill, and they made it work.
Yeah, this 9th grade class, by the way, Alex, is very talented. They are really talented in everything. And, you don't see that many 9th graders playing varsity football. The ones you do, obviously, are very capable. And Sammy Bunn making a big impact in what I think might be his first offensive snap of the season. But Dante Corey, like we talked about, just a nose for it. So 15-0 Panthers, pending the extra point here from Jacobo. Snap is true. Good hold. Kick is up. kick is good. Panthers, great drive there. Very, very nice. Gets the capitalization with the touchdown this time and leads 16-0.
So we're at an interesting point of the game. We have 8 minutes left in the half. So the way that the field position battle has been playing out, St. Clair obviously very one-sided. Although they've counted by threes for a majority of the game, they did find the end zone there. And if their defense can continue to pin Canon-Mac back within their own 20, 15, 30, I'll be curious to see how much time's left, and I'll be very, very excited to see Ethan Hellman run maybe the 4-minute offense, just so that you want to score and not leave any time on the clock for Canon-Mac to potentially get something cheap.
I'll tell you what, Alex, what I think is going to be a big play in this football game, first turnover. I think the first turnover is going to be a huge play in this football game. If the St. Clair forces a big turnover, it could be lights out. If Canon-Mac forces a turnover, could get him back into the football game. That is what I'm going to watch for. All right, Jacobo kicking it back off into play here. Panthers off to a good start. He booms that one again. That's going to be no problem for a touchback, and the Big Macs will start on their 20. I want to say hi to some of the families here. Have to imagine Alex's dad is watching. He was not super psyched about the broadcast last week, so Chong, I hope this is much more to your satisfaction tonight.
I think Chong and Lisa are on their porch right now watching with the legendary White Lightning, Jim Perryman.
Oh, yes, very nice.
And the more legendary Jill Perryman.
So, that's wonderful.
I hope you guys are enjoying the game.
Yeah, and a shout-out to my mom, who's probably my biggest supporter on the broadcast, also my dad. I don't think he's here, and if he is, he's probably watching the broadcast. Hopefully my wife and kids are watching, but I'm not 100% sure. They're difficult. Okay. Big Mac's got it. Little bit of a misdirection there. Randy Yan comes up and makes a pretty good hit, but not before a gain of about 5. Kind of a neat little misdirection play. It ended up back in Calgaro's hands, but good game.
You mentioned turnovers, Gavin. And the snaps for Canon-Mac out of the gun are a little bit shaky and could be the reason that we didn't see the shotgun snap early in the game. Maybe they're a little bit more comfortable with it now, but that could be something that gives St. Clair the ball within the red zone. Yeah,
well, absolutely. I mean, you'd certainly love to see that. And there are exchange issues, particularly early in the season, and these pistol stuff is not easy. 2nd and 5 for the Big Macs. Another guy in motion. Is this going to be another reverse? It is. Boy, this play has just not worked at all for them. That's Nico D'Orazio, the safety, along with Big Will Stoll, the sophomore, number 55. And very nice diagnosis from the Panthers of the misdirection stuff.
And the timing of that was thrown off a little bit by the poor snap. Usually you want to catch it and either toss it forward, that's a cheap way of getting a completion, or hand it off almost immediately. But when you have a high snap, it really slows things down.
So that was a nice first down gain for the Big Macs. They were kind of on schedule there, and now a little bit tougher third and, they didn't get as big of a loss as I thought, so it's only 3rd and 6. But it'll be interesting to see what the Big Macs come up with here. They've had, a lot of the slant stuff, but we'll see.
This is a key down. We're looking at the clock, and they just called timeout right around the 6:30 mark. If St. Clair can get a stop here, they will have plenty of time. And the way that Nico D'Orazio has been playing recently, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a big return.
Looks like we're going to do a commercial here, and we will be back shortly.
Quiet on set? No way. This is Jake's time to shine, and Ryan's, and our crew. Cameras, check. Drones, check. Checking that shot we just checked? Double check. We ain't got time to chill. We're out here capturing this action. This is when we get to work, to bring you every moment live, no matter what. Broadcasting changes everything. Transform how you experience the game with JRM Video Production.
All right, we're back again. Thanks to all our sponsors. We really appreciate it. To have a broadcast of this quality is really unbelievable. It's a blessing to have, and I want to thank our sponsors for allowing that. Certainly want to thank JRM Production, doing a wonderful job, and certainly our USC Tech guys, Ray Barot, Paul J. They're back there, my guys. All right, 3rd and 6. Again, big play, as Alex said. Jansma's got time. He's going to throw it. Oh, my. Randy Ann was all over that. Not only that, but Beck Shields sort of undercut that, and if the throw was on target, he may have been a pick six.
Great job by St. Clair, not making anything worse, keeping everything in front of him. Hopefully now Nico D'Orazio can do his magic again.
Yeah, I mean, Nico's, they kicked the one last time kind of away from him. That's what I would do. But he's very, very dangerous every time the ball touches his hand. The Panthers have had some really good returners in recent years. Dave Pantelis comes to mind, but Nico's as good as any of them. But that's going to be a very short kick, not a good one. Panthers are going to have the ball in Big Mac territory, only about a 20-yard punt. Looks like they'll have it on the Big Mac 44.
Yeah, not a great kick, but a great break for Upper St. Clair. Great job by the return team, too, for getting out of the way of that ball. Anytime they would get the ball would touch them, that's a live ball. Canon-Mac jumps on it. They have great field position. So great discipline by the St. Clair return team.
Yeah, very much so. Oh, a shout out to my sister Erin Yeager, who is actually watching too. Her husband Matt, of course, the boys now both at Streams. Cameron and Casey, my nephews. What's up, boys? Shout. It's always nice to have the family support here on the broadcast. If my family isn't going to watch, who is really going to watch this? But they actually love me somehow, even though I don't make it easy sometimes. Snyder back here. Oh, they're going to throw it now. Nice route there. Oh, Randy Ann tried to put his foot in the ground and spin out. Didn't quite get there. It's going to be almost no gain, but it was interesting. I think they were sort of figuring they were going to keep playing that deep coverage, but they might have moved up with Snyder in the game maybe.
And it took a while, too. That was a wide side throw. That's a long throw. Gives the DB time to break on the ball.
Yeah, interesting to see them throwing now with Snyder out of this package. Now back to the run. Good block from Dante Corey. Gets to the outside. Good block from Bryce Jones as well. Oh, they got Bryce Jones on a hold. I thought his hands were inside inside the shoulders there. Oh, boy, that's frustrating. Looked like it was really well blocked and well run, but got to be a hold on Jones on the corner block and back him up.
Yeah, that was a really nice run by Snyder, too. He set up his blockers, running the ladder. I thought it was clean, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's a long way away from me. My eyesight isn't quite as good as it was. But I thought he was inside the shoulder pads. You don't usually see that called unless they get away, which they didn't. He was inside. But what are you going to do? We're going to have to accept the call and move on. But nice stuff from Josh Snyder. Hellman is back in the football game now. Drew Sanderson also in the game, so we got the 4 receiver set now.
Just under 6 minutes, plenty of time, and you don't need it all back right now. Maybe half, get to the 40, and then he can make a play.
D'Orazio's in the backfield now. Now he's coming outside. So we got trips left now. Here's Hellman. He's looking. He's got some running room. Oh, he throws up. He's got a man. It's Drew Sanderson. What a throw. What a catch. Panther touchdown. Senior Drew Sanderson celebrates senior night with a 45-yard score. Hellman, every ball he throws is right on the money right now, Alex.
That was awesome. Great scramble drill. An awesome play for Sanderson. The native of Quail Hill Drive catching a touchdown on senior night.
It's about time there's some talent on Quail Hill Drive. It's been lacking for so long here. Boy, I mean, look at that throw rolling right. We've got the nice look at it. I mean, that is just full run to throw the ball that accurately. It's just beautiful. And
you have the short punt, the quick score. Looking at the clock now, St. Clair still has all 3 of its timeouts left. Canon-Mac only has 1. 5:30 left in the game. We could still see some offensive sparks. And the fake.
They're practicing the fake. He's going to run it. He's in. Nico D'Orazio. I don't know if that was... It looked like that was a design fake. I don't know. Maybe they saw something on film this week and just wanted to practice that. I don't know, but it worked. 2-point conversion. Go Panthers. 24-0. All right, we're going to take another commercial break for our sponsors. We'll be back.
Stay connected with all the action. Follow JRM Sports on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Get the latest highlights, exclusive content, and behind-the-scenes moments from your favorite sports. Don't miss a second. Follow us today.
All right, we are back here. Panthers, there's not much you can say right now about negative about the Panthers start. I mean, 24-0, 5:24 to go in the second quarter. Okay, we nitpick not getting touchdowns on early drives, but there's just not much bad to say right now, is there, Alex?
Absolutely not. They utilized Dante Corey in the red zone. They've made some big plays in the scramble drill. Ethan Hellman with a great throw to Drew Sanderson. And I'll be curious to see now how the clock management goes for Canon-Mac. Do they just want to get to halftime? Do they want to regroup? Maybe see what they've seen on tape? But St. Clair, again, with all 3 of their timeouts left, why not give it a shot? Maybe we'll see them go after a punt if they can get a 4th down. Who knows?
I expect the Big Macs to throw some here. They did most of their damage in the pass last week. So, wow, that is an absolute bomb. Through the end zone again from my man Jacobo. Big time. All right, my man Josh Helmer's chiming in here. He said that throw looked like some other quarterbacks he knows, so I guess he's somehow insinuating that you and he make that throw all the time, no problem. Is that what I'm reading here?
Maybe Josh. I don't know about me.
That's a tough throw, man. Rolling dead to your right and throwing a pass with that kind of distance and that kind of accuracy. I mean, I can't even throw a football that far. That is really. But look, Ethan Hellman has been incredible so far this year. I don't want to downplay it at all.
No, and he's played mistake-free football, which has been very important.
All right, so let's see what the Big Macs do here. They're obviously not in a great spot here. They're going to run. Randy Yan stands him up. Very, very nice stuff. Bunn comes in and cleans it up, as does Geyer. But, gain of 1 or 2, but it doesn't seem like the Big Macs are in a huge hurry here, Alex.
No, they're really milking the clock here in the huddle. If you're St. Clair, and all 3 phases of the game are equally important, right? So you've seen their punting. You've seen the kicking that's taken place and how it's kind of hurt Canon-Mac's field position. So if I were St. Clair, I wouldn't necessarily be worried about the clock, especially because Canon-Mac just took a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give Coach Junko and his staff a lot of credit. And I said this last week. I wasn't broadcasting, but I said this in the stands to my father. I would think as a football coach, the hardest part of it would be week 0, week 1, because, okay, you've had practice time, but you haven't had any game reps, and I just would think you'd see obvious mistakes. They were really tight last week. Very few mistakes, no turnovers, almost no penalties. Same way tonight. I mean, they've had a couple penalties, but it's been really, really sharp, and I think you got to give Coach Junko and his staff a lot of credit.
Coach Junko and his staff obviously deserve a ton of credit, but every player that we've seen cycling in and out, even some of the kids who have come in for injured players, they're all seniors, juniors and seniors who have had a lot of reps, so not surprised at the discipline.
All right, 2nd and 8. It's another run. He's going to get through this time. He's going to get about 6 or 7 that time. Yan brings him down, but not before Calgaro gets about, let's say, I think he's going to have 3rd and 2, let's say here. But a good run from Calgaro. He's been pretty effective. He's not a big kid by any means. They have him listed at 5'9", 165, but he's running pretty hard.
Yeah, this is a big down. We're getting towards that 4-minute drill mark, but St. Clair still with all of their timeouts. Curious to see if Coach Junko uses them if they get a stop here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Oh, they go big QB draw there, and Jansma looks like he's got it, although depends which official you trust. The guy at the top of the field had it by the lead stick. The guy in the bottom of the field did not.
Do we have that new NFL tech yet at Upper St. Clair, Gavin, where you can kind of do the U.S. Open tennis line thing?
I mean, it's right at the 30. It was a touchback, so I don't think there's a whole lot of controversy here. If it's to the line, it's a first down. I wish we did have that, the chip in the ball or whatever they're doing. All right, but the clock is moving here. 3:46 to go. You may be right. The Big Macs may be very satisfied to not get the ball back to Upper St. Clair, and that's it.
Well, they have 2 tight ends and a fullback, and it's looking very run-heavy.
But the Panthers do have 3 timeouts left. Calgaro again. There's Banbury. Every time he comes from behind the play and gets pursuit, he's making a play. Doesn't look like they're going to use a timeout quite yet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one if they get a stop here.
And the key, too, will be putting Canon-Mac in a position where they have to make a decision, 3rd and long, whether or not they want to throw the ball. And if you get incomplete, that obviously stops the clock, so you save one in your back pocket.
Yeah, Coach Donati was out on the field signaling something. I couldn't tell what, but it seems like they're seeing something Canon-Mac's doing here, some sort of tendency. But whatever they're doing right now on D, it is largely working. 2:45 left to play now. 2nd and 11 for the Big Macs. They're going to fake here. They are going to throw. Here's Geyer. Geyer was getting held. His arm was getting held. The guy let go in time, but the pass was not complete. Nevin Shigansiniawaski had great coverage, the junior linebacker.
That's the incompletion we were looking for. So now you're sitting 2 minutes, 40 seconds left, 3rd down and 11. Most likely, Canon-Mac's thinking, okay, let's just run the ball up the gut, maybe get away with a good punt. But if St. Clair can get a stop, quick timeout, they'll have plenty of time and 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, it's dire right now for the Big Macs if they can't get a first down here. And I have to imagine Coach Junko will be aggressive because of the way Ethan's throwing the ball and the decision-making. Here it is, 3rd and 11. Jansman's got a lot of time here. Buns going to try to close it down. Not a bad throw, but pretty good coverage from Josh Schneider, the sophomore. He was looking for Braylon Wingfield. Nothing there. And, another stop clock. Get to preserve all the timeouts. 2:34 to go. And another chance for Nico D'Orazio to put a nail in the coffin early here in the football game.
And you know that Coach Junko is telling his return team, no penalties. Leave the kicker alone. No blocks in the back, no holds. Let D'Orazio do what he needs to do.
I should point out the up man here for Canon-Mac is Ryan Blinn, who's son of Doug Blinn, who I graduated with 1996. It's it's a flag. I'm not 100% sure what the flag was here. The side judge threw it way away from the action. I don't know, did somebody run out of bounds or did somebody leave early? What?
See if we can take a peek.
It's just the guy who threw it was so far away from everything, it was hard to...
Could be a sideline warning.
Good call, Alex. It just seemed peculiar that the guy who threw it early, nowhere near any of the play, but that was a really good call. So, okay, worked well. D'Orazio caught it. Good return. Panthers have, again, field position. If you believe field position is important, which I believe to an extent it is in high school football, Panthers have had great field position. All right, 2:26 to go. All 3 timeouts for the Panthers. Alex, you got to expect aggression here, right?
Yes, but take what they give you. Use the sidelines. Get out of bounds without using your timeouts.
It's Hellman. He's back to throw. He's got all day. Out route. Nice coverage there. So looks like they're a little more aggressive there, pressing up on the receivers. That's a 9th grader, Evan Lewis, on the corner, made a really nice play on it.
Really nice play. Sat on top of the comeback route. That's usually a given if you can have the time to throw it, but nice play by Lewis.
Yeah, hey, we got a couple 9th graders playing, so. All right, Hellman back to throw. Oh, QB draw, and they've got it too. Kazmarzik was looking for somebody to block. Corey did another nice job blocking. He's going to get almost 20 yards down to the Big Mac 41-yard line. Clock stops to move the chains. Now it's just running, I guess.
Great play.
Yeah, really good call there from, I don't know who's doing the calls, but whoever's doing the OC work there, really nice. Caught him bad there on a blitz.
Especially during these 4-minute, 2-minute situations, you're thinking pass, 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 pass.
All right, so we got 1:58 here. The clock is stopped. I'm not 100% sure why the clock is stopped. Maybe to set the chains. The referee is standing in there, but love that play. Changed the field position up, and just a really good, safe decision that caught him napping a bit.
Yeah, Gab, I got to give a quick shout-out. My mother-in-law is listening all the way from North Huntington, Becky Oncheski. Shout out, Becky, big football fan.
Yeah, if they're watching all the way out in Norwin, you gotta love the loyalty.
We've had a few international listeners in our day. A few servicemen. Tim Kikta and his family. I know they're listening.
Yeah, I usually get a good number from sort of all over the place. Colin Hawkins is watched from South Carolina because his nephew Josh is, doing a nice job there playing. Out route D'Orazio. Oh, nice block from Randy Yan. Got an extra, probably 10 yards because of that, down to the 28. Clock stops on the first down, I believe. Yep. So we got 1:53. Nico's been a little banged up here. I'm a little bit concerned about. Just been limping a little bit.
I'm surprised he's still returning punts. Usually that's the first thing to go.
All right, so Snyder's going to come in the game to take his place. Clock is now rolling. First down. Canon-Mac 29 out. A little bit early movement there, it looks like. Yeah, procedure on the Panthers.
Probably somebody not set. That was some high tempo, and there were some subs. Anytime that happens, really got to be careful and make sure that everybody's set.
Yep, so back it up a little bit here. We still got 1:45 left. Panthers are already in Jacobo's field goal range. That's a good thing, but I have a feeling, knowing Coach Junko, knowing Ethan Hellman, the way the ball has moved, that's not what they're thinking about right now.
Still 3 timeouts left, too.
Yes, very much so. You can go to the middle of the field, no problem. So we've got 3 receivers in the game. It's Jones, Snyder, and Yan.
And Yan's all alone at the bottom. You know, he's one-on-one. The DB is playing that outside leverage, so there's really no safety in the middle of the field. So I wouldn't be surprised to hit like a backside post or something like that if Upper St. Clair can protect it. That's a long developing play.
Coach Junko's upset. I don't know if somebody didn't know the play or the formation was off, whatever. You know, better now you have 3 timeouts. You can use one and make sure you're on the same page. Because, again, we talked about this. The one thing you don't want to have happen is some sort of mistake where somebody runs the wrong route, they get a pick 6, and the whole momentum shifts. You got to be protecting the football. Luckily, you have a senior quarterback, 4-year starter, who really has done a great job decision-making.
And I know we've kind of poo-pooed field goals, but Jacobo's leg, you have to keep that range in mind, too. You can't get too greedy. You can't force the ball into windows that aren't necessarily there. So take what they give you. Use the sidelines as your friend. Use the timeouts. Obviously, this one was kind of cheap. We didn't want to burn it on something like that, but take what they give you. He's been doing that all night, and it's been a 24-0 lead.
Yeah, it's, you know, and it is such a tremendous luxury to have the type of kicker St. Clair has had for a long time now. Bennett Henderson, who's kicking at Colgate, was marvelous. Jacobo's the same way, and you know, you take it for granted, but a lot of high school teams don't have that. Hellman's back to throw, got a lot of time. Now he runs out, he gets forward. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage or so, but not ideal. Just nobody was really open there. It was kind of a coverage sack.
And that's a time crunch, too, because that was a very long developing play for St. Clair, so the receiver's got to jog back from being 40 yards down the field.
All right, so we're about 1:05 to go here. This is a screen to Dante Corey to the outside. Oh, he beat him to the corner. Nice job. He gets out of bounds, which is a smart play. Stops the clock with 57 seconds left. Not a big gainer, but it'll be about 3rd and 12 or so here, Alex. How aggressive do you see the Panthers being here, given all things considered at this point?
Would be surprised if this was 4-down territory for them, given where the game is. Obviously, you don't want to leave points on the table, but if you can get 8-9 yards on 3rd and 13, given the success that the offense has had so far, why not give it a chance?
And look who checks back into the game, of course. Old reliable, number 4, Nico D'Orazio. That's certainly a guy you got to watch. All right, Hellman. It's going to be a wide receiver screen. This is Bryce Jones. That's exactly good call, Alex. They picked up about 9 or 10, and I think they did with the expectation to go for it here. I wonder if they're going to use a timeout here and try to set up the offense.
Oh, bad spot.
They're letting the clock run here. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. Now it looks like they are going to go for it here. Wonder if he's going to try to draw him off sides. He did. It did not happen. So this is not that aggressive here. Wonder if they're going to call timeout and this will be a field goal.
Yeah, they have about 5 seconds left on the play clock.
So, yep, looks like they're going to call timeout, and this is going to be Jacobo Echeverria in to kick a field goal. This is going to be his longest of the night. He's hit from, I think, 25, 24, and 36. This is setting up to be something like, 39 maybe. So, you're going to see an unbelievable leg. That's what you are going to see. It's fun to watch him kick the ball.
And not a bad time to try it. There's no weather. There's no wind. There's no real threat outside of Canon-Mac's defense and a bad snap. So I wouldn't be shocked if he made this. I've seen him kick for however many years now, and he's been a tremendous kicker. St. Clair has a very, very long line of great kickers.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Bennett, but there's been so many. Connor Lee was excellent. Alex Romanius was excellent. You know, there's just, I don't mean to, to shaft anybody either. We've had a lot. I mean, going all the way back to, Billy Price, my colleague at Clark Hill was an excellent kicker. You know, that was before it was sort of hip to have soccer guys kick for you. Coach was one of the first ones I saw do that. All right. Here is Jacobo. This is going to be almost 40 yards. Certainly got enough distance, and it is dead through. Jacobo Echeverria has just been, really showing off today with his kickoffs and his field goals. 4 field goals and a half. That's got to be an Upper St. Clair record, I would think.
That would have been good from a long ways away. That still had a good 20 yards or so behind it.
Well, he's sort of in talks with a lot of schools. He's had a lot of visits. Hopefully he can send this film to UCLA or one of the schools he really likes, Purdue, that can pull the trigger, because this kid's a Division I kicker. We're not telling you something you don't know here. He's that good. Great kid, too. Yeah, he's a kid you want at your university. All right. 6 seconds left here for the Panthers. And I'll tell you what, Alex, this has been a really thorough first half in terms of checking all of the boxes you want to check if you're a head football coach. All right, hopefully Jacobo will give us one more long touchback here to marvel at the leg strength. He does. He booms this one.
Oh, that went through.
Wow. Oh, Helmrich mentioned Justin Sajansky. How can I forget Sajansky?
And he mentioned the shoe. And I was at the game where he changed the shoe. I was like, I don't know, 9 years old.
This is the brilliant Coach Render maneuvering of finding soccer players to, do your place kicking. Well, Mike Mascaro here. Mike was a good place kicker. Hey, I mean, we have had a long tradition, and it is a luxury. If you watch these other schools, they just don't have the place kickers we've had, so it's a luxury. Canon-McMillan will down the football, and we will go into halftime with the Panthers. A thorough, excellent, dominant first half performance. They lead 27-0. We will be back after the bands play at halftime to summarize the first half and to give you the keys for the second half. Thank you so much.
At Loewe, we understand the power of personalization. From hats to water bottles, our expert services include screen printing, embroidery, and a variety of promotional items. We also specialize in team sports gear. What truly sets Loewe apart is our dedicated design team, including our talented on-staff graphic designers and exponential customer service. Choose Loewe to make a lasting impression on and off the field.
This fall, D3 College football returns to KDKA Plus as we showcase matchups from across the President's Athletic Conference. The season kicks off with Washington and Jefferson facing Utica on September 6th at noon, only on KDKA Plus.
A new sweet relationship full of smiles and hope and promises until it's not. In comes the phrase, it's not you, it's me.
Or is it? Just ask Mr. Brightside. Continuing our breakup show and featuring our auxiliaries this evening, we play the Britney Spears song, Toxic. We end tonight's Breaking Up show with a song from the birthday boy, Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. The band is under the student leadership of drum major Corinne Amos, senior field conductors Katie Adrian and Isabella Colgan, junior field conductors Neil Stella and Ada Rush, Canon-McMillan co-captains Larkin Hoyer and Michaela Walkman, majorette captain Cassidy Stoughton, silk co-captains Elle Richardson and Stella Dudley, and our featured twirler is Brooklyn Brett. Thank you for your kind attention.
Let's give it up once more with the Canon-McMillan Big Mac Marching Band. And now, from the fine and perfect arts of the Upper St. Clair Township Schools, we present the pride of Upper St. Clair, the Upper St. Clair High School Panther Marching Band. The band is led on the field by drum majors Ava Wynn and Caitlin Burns. The band's 2025 halftime show is entitled Never Too Much and opens with the 30th anniversary rendition of Michael Jackson's The Way You Make Me Feel, featuring senior alto sax soloist Andy Shearer. The band will then kick it off with Luther Vandross's hit song, Never Too Much. Drum majors, take it away. Next up is an amalgamation of two icons, the one of the greatest voices of all time and the king of pop. Here is Whitney Houston's I'm Your Baby Tonight, and a reprise of The Way You Make Me Feel. Once again featuring alto sax soloist Andy Shearer. We'll close our show with something we guarantee you won't hear anywhere else this season. Here is Boyz II Men's hit single, Motown Philly. Let's give it up for the 25-26 edition of the Pride of Upper St. Clair. The band is under the direction of band director Mr. Nick Deutsch, assistant director, percussion coordinator, and drumline head Mr. Jesse Rhodes, assistant director and front ensemble instructor Mr. Jacob Rice.
Have a nice day, family.
What would they do without me?
Can someone fix my hair? Must have cheesy eggs.
I can't find my keys.
No, annoying! Never! I'm the king of the
I need some help.
I better get more life insurance.
You're irreplaceable, but a life insurance policy from GBU Life can provide your family with the resources for a well-planned future. Visit gbu.org to get started.
All right, we're back again here. 27-0, the Panthers lead at halftime. I'm Gavin Williams. Alex Park is by my side. We're going to go to some first-half highlights here. Get to see some of the action here from what was a really action-packed first half. Here we got the field goal here from Jacobo. 4 field goals and a half, Alex. That's really kind of something special.
Absolutely, and we were a little bit worried about the red zone offense for Upper St. Clair in the first half.
Actually, the first 3 drives or so, but they really turned it on in the later part of the half.
And there's Dante Corey getting to the end zone, finding the end line. This was really the special one. Hellman rolls out on the run, just throws an absolute dart there to Drew Sanderson, celebrating 2 seniors on senior night. And the Panthers just really, I said this at the end of the first half, but if you're a coach, I have to think they checked all the boxes in terms of the things you would be looking for in week 1.
Absolutely, and I think the big word that comes to mind is efficiency. Upper St. Clair ran for 52 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Josh Snyder leading the way with 3 carries for 25 yards, and obviously Dante Corey with that late first half touchdown. And then Ethan Hellman. Again, we couldn't quite figure out this offseason why there were questions about whether or not he'd be able to shoulder the load. 12 of 16, 155 yards, and a touchdown. Has made great decisions, and you can really never go wrong throwing to Nico D'Orazio, who's leading the way with 3 catches for 60 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he's really putting up video game numbers in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the completion percentage, all that stuff. It's just incredible. Wow, the students are partying there down from the stands on the field, celebrating with some of the seniors. I got to give a shout-out to both student sections. Big student crowd here. Big student crowd here tonight, which you absolutely love to see. I've been very impressed. I talked about the cleanness of the football game, but the other thing is, so this team, I know they do have a lot of seniors. They lost a lot of seniors from last year's team, some really, really outstanding players. I've just been really impressed with the continuity in terms of it looks a lot like it did last year.
It does. We've mentioned the experience level. A lot of seniors stepping up to replace seniors who have gone on to do great things. And the defense specifically, that was kind of a question mark early in the year, whether or not it would be a rebuilding year or a reloading year. And so far, the St. Clair defense has been nothing short of dominant. They have limited Canon-McMillan to 22 rushing yards in the first half. And they've held Ty Jansma, who's no slouch of an athlete of himself, 1 completion on 8 attempts for 16 yards. The Division I Buffalo recruit, TJ Sabanucci, has 2 targets, no catches. They've limited him. So limit big plays. That was a big key to the game, Gavin, and it looks like the St. Clair defense heard you.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to Hellman for me. You can see him warming up on the sidelines here with volunteer quarterback coach Ethan Dallum, who, we all know him, 2021 grad of St. Clair, record-setting quarterback, WPIAL championship point guard. Ethan Dallum, the one thing that always impressed me with him was maturity. Decision-making, maturity. You're starting to see that in Ethan Hellman. Ethan Hellman has always thrown a beautiful ball. He's always been extremely competitive. But the maturity that he is showing as a senior has been very, very obvious so far.
I would tend to very much agree. It doesn't have to be the big play all of the time, but it does have to be the right play. Whether that mean taking a sack versus, throwing the ball into double coverage, throwing the ball away, taking the 3 yards on 3rd down and 7 so that you put your special teams in a better position to punt. Making the right play should be his theme, and because he has all the talent in the world. He has 4 years of experience. He's the first 4-year starter since, I believe, your good friend Mac McCardle. And with that, obviously you want to make all these plays. You hear the noise with recruiting and everything like that, these lists that you spoke about earlier, Gavin. But if he makes the right play, St. Clair is going to continue winning. He's going to get his exposure, and he's going to get and some school is going to be lucky to have him. Whoever it is, whatever level, they'll be lucky to have him.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, competitive, intelligent. It checks all the boxes, particularly the way he's throwing the football right now. All right, so Panthers will be kicking off this time. As we recall, they received the ball to open the game. Let's set the kick team lineup here. We've got Anthony Razzo, number 11, who we've seen on both sides of the football. Alex Perenick, number 22, whose mom, Molly Brenlove Perenick, was an excellent athlete at St. Clair, class of 1994. Randy Ann, number 18, is out there right now. Number 10, Drew Sanderson. 15, Josh Schneider. Obviously, we've talked about Jacobo kicking the ball off. Number 31, Luca Corey, the sophomore tailback. 5, Caffrey Duplessis, who is our starting corner. Carter Chojnicki, who's number 3 there. And, of course, number 30, Ethan Blau, the senior cornerback. So a lot of regulars who get a lot of snaps are playing on the special teams as well. Does not surprise you. Coach Junko puts so much emphasis on the special teams, and they've been really excellent in that category tonight and the last several seasons, to be honest.
You could argue that's been a huge piece of this game because Canon-Mac has had a really, really hard time punting the ball, and that has resulted in multiple scores, multiple great field position for St. Clair. So Coach Junko's right, and they have one of the best kickers in the Whitfield, so not surprised they're emphasizing it.
Here's Jacobo to start the second half. He's going to do sort of the shorter one again. Right at the goal line, they're going to bring it out. He's got some running room here. Sanderson closes it down. Good job by Drew to bring him to the ground along with Randy Ann. Probably Canon-Mac's best field position, which is the 25, which again speaks to the special teams quality tonight of the Panthers. All right, you expect to see anything different from Canon-Mac? A little more of a sense of urgency, or do they realize this one's probably not going to happen and try to just really kind of get better offensive reps?
Well, I'll be first curious to see how Canon-Mac comes out, whether it be in the spread, whether it be in the 2 tight end, under center. So it looks like they're going to start off under center, 1 wide receiver. They did have some success towards the end of the half running the ball. Maybe they'll try that.
All right, they fake to the back. It's going to be a pass. There is Sabatucci. So rolls left. Jansma finds Sabatucci. Just like you said, Alex, that's the guy they should be trying to target more. That's their guy. And good simple throw, 10-yard gain, first down for the Big Macs.
Yeah, really made it look easy. Never an easy throw throwing to your left, especially when you have a guy in your face. Nice job squaring up the shoulders and making an accurate throw.
Yeah, we expected to call his name a lot more than we have, but kudos to the Panthers for obviously recognizing him being a weapon. All right, 1st and 10 from the 35 for the Big Macs. Jansma's got it. Hands it to Calgaro. Not much there. Ethan Blau came up from his cornerback position there, but it was a pretty stout play at the point of attack. Durazio was really up close to the line of scrimmage and sort of shot the gap there.
And let me know how you feel about this, Gavin, but there doesn't seem to be any tempo in the Canon-Mac offense right now. There's no sense of urgency. Yes, you're not going to get it all back in one swing down 27-0, but it doesn't feel like the plays are getting in quickly. It doesn't feel like the quarterback's really getting his guys up on the line. There's no real sense of urgency.
And I agree. I mean, there's tempo is sort of everything right now, particularly when you're trying to get your first down. I kind of thought we'd see it. Fakes to the back. Going to throw again. There's Sabatucci, just a little high. Frankly, he had Blinn out in the flat. I think it would have just been a simple 7-yard gain or something. I know that's your guy, but I think I would have taken a little bit of yardage there.
I totally agree with you, but that's probably the mindset of, hey, we got to get going. And that's really the wrong mindset, especially when we talk about urgency, because you get 7, you put yourself in 3rd and manageable. Now you're sitting around 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And the way the St. Clair pass rush has played, that's not a good position to be in.
It is not, and it'll be interesting to see if the Panthers rush 3 or send somebody here. They've really been content to rush 3, and they've gotten in doing that. So probably not going to change it now. 3rd and 9 for the Panthers. Jansma in the pistol. He's going to go to the out. He's got a man. He's got a catch, but it's not going to be a first down despite him trying to get out there. Beck Shields and Ethan Blau tackled Cimaroli to the ground. And I wouldn't be shocked to see them go for it here. They've gotten a little bit out of the shadow of their end zone. It's 4th and 2. What do you got to lose at this point, Alex?
Right, and I think this further strengthens the point that we made previously where had Jansma taken the check down, they would be in this position on 3rd down and rather not a very desperate 4th down.
Yeah, you're right, though. It's taken forever to get plays in here, and as a result, there's no tempo, and then it feels rushed. Double tight end. This is a power set. Campoli's going to get it. Calgaro up the middle, and pretty good surge there considering, but gets about a 4-yard gain and moves the sticks for the Big Macs.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that Canon-Mac is really threatening to cross the 50.
I think it's the first time they've gotten multiple first downs on a drive, if I recall. But people adjust at halftime. They might have seen something. It's been a little more varied here in terms of what they've done, and it's been effective so far for the Big Macs. All right, ball at their own 47 here. Jansma under center. Going to go to Calgaro again. He gashes through the hole there. He tripped, but he got about 5 or 6. Big Mac's got something going here, Alex.
Yeah, well-executed run play. There was a nice pull from the backside for a seal block. And St. Clair is still playing a 6-7-man box, so for Canon-Mac to be able to get this kind of success running the ball downhill is impressive.
Yeah. To me, it hasn't been really a difference in formation or anything like that, but they've been a little more, it's been a little more of a variety. I think the play action has sort of set up some of the run. This is looking good here for the Big Macs. Panthers are going to have to get a little stout here. They fake the run here. It's another play action. He's rolling to his left, and he's just going to throw it away. Sabatucci, I think, they were looking for a very similar play. It looked like that they got the first down on, but they had guys all over him that time.
They did, and we had mentioned the physicality in the defensive backfield on both sides of the ball all night. He really was taken to the ground, so that's another one where the refs are really letting the perimeter guys play.
I was hoping that was within 5 yards. It didn't look like
No, it did not.
All right, so we've got 3rd and about 5 here for the Big Macs. Now they're in the pistol here. It looks like this has been a situation where they've pretty much thrown exclusively out of. And Jansma's back to throw. It looked like it was going to be a screen. He's still looking down the field. Oh, they slipped him back out of the backfield. Very nice poise there. It's going to be Cimaroli again, and he's going to get to the lead stick for a first down.
And this drive has to give Canon-Mac a lot of confidence. Whether or not it results in a comeback win, touchdown, it's got to give them a lot of confidence because they have been methodically moving the ball up the field. And Jansma's been making good decisions. He's still a junior, still learning this offense. And obviously there's been a lot of turmoil on the staff for Canon-Mac, so this is obviously a big step for them.
Yeah, and he's a talented guy. We told him we didn't think they'd hold him down forever, and they're doing a really good job on this first drive. This is Calgaro again. Pretty good stuff from the Panthers there. Anthony Razzo did a really nice job at the point of attack, as did Nevin Cheek and Cindy Owoski, 2 juniors. So they only got about 2 there probably. Good stuff from the Upper St. Clair defense.
Yeah, that was a thankless job by Anthony Razzo. He went and blew up the double power. So 2 guys pulling from the backside, and he's able to stop him there.
All right, 2nd and 8 here as the Big Macs move the furthest they have been into Panther territory today. Jansma is going to be under center again. Now they're going to pitch it to the bigger back. Banbury almost got him again from behind, but he banged it in there. Bryce Collins, the sophomore, who's kind of been more of a fullback. He's the bigger of the 2 backs. He got about 2 there, so probably 4 down territory again here, Alex. So staying on schedule, I guess.
Yeah, 3rd down and 6. That's manageable, especially for the struggles that Canon-Mac has faced in the pass game with the St. Clair pass rush. You can play for a 4th down and 2, 4th down and 3, and make it a manageable 4th down conversion, but I'm sure Canon-Mac would like to avoid that and convert here.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of time off the clock. There's already under 7 minutes left. It's already been a 5-minute drive, so. All right, 3rd and 6. Jansma's going to fake it this. He's got the rollout here. He's got Oh, it's Durazio again. It's the exact same pattern again to the opposite side. Nico just sat on it. Knew they were going to Sabatucci, takes it away. Great stuff from the senior safety.
Great play by Durazio, but St. Clair caught a break. Roman Cimaroli was wide open on the backside post, absolutely nude. And Jansma tried to force it to his guy, the big recruit heading to Buffalo, but great play by Durazio to stop a very successful Canon-Mac drive.
He also had Blinn open again in the flat, I think, in terms of that was closer. That was not as easy of a throw. It was not wide open like it was last time. But, I just think sometimes you want to get it to your guy, your main guy, but the defense knows that too.
And that comes down to experience playing the quarterback position. That's the difference between a 1-year starter and a 4-year starter.
Totally makes sense. This is Hellman. Oh, he's got a man down the field. It's Sanderson again. He's open. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. Can Drew beat the last guy? He does. He beats Roman Cimaroli. Big day for the senior Drew Sanderson. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Goes 70 yards.
And where's he from, Gavin?
Whale Hill Drive,
there
Alex.
There we go.
Wow. Boy, so Alex talked about this, and I'll let him set this up. Here's the setting up that out again, the hitch and go, and just wide open.
And this is a play that teams don't often see. Normally you'll see the number 2, the slot receiver, do the out-breaking route while the number 1 on the outside goes deep. They call that an Ohio concept. They did the reverse of that, but they ended up in the same spots. Number 2, Sanderson going deep. Number 1 on the outside with the hitch.
Yeah, and Sanderson, the one advantage of having a slot like Drew Sanderson is he's so fast. And so, Jacobo adds the extra point to make it 34-0. A lot of times the slot guys are your prototype, your possession guys. So that's not Drew Sanderson. Drew Sanderson can fly. Man can hoop, too. All right, Coach Junko, you can see how happy he is for Drew. Drew's just a great kid. Very, very excited to see him, when his number is called to shine tonight. Because he had a bunch of injury problems last year and didn't get on the field as much as he would have wanted. And, he's a talented kid. He's been outstanding tonight. Very happy for Drew. All right, 34-0. Wow.
3-0-4-3. That's a red ticket. 5-2-3-0-4-3.
Gav, I got to give a quick shout out to my man Sammy G. Sam Gaetano, played with him ever since I was in 4th grade. He's watching, just got married. Congrats, Sam. And hope you're doing well.
I miss having Sammy G around here. What a legend. Give you some scores here from our conference. Moon is up 28-13 on Montour, which is, Moon's going to be a really tough team to beat again. Peter's up 21-0 on McKeesport. To be fair, Keemon Spell is not playing for McKeesport. I'm sure that is not any sort of coincidence. Woodland Hills up 34-0 on Penn Hills. They're going to be a really difficult team to beat in the conference. And Shaler and South Fayette still tied at 14. So, the conference, Alex, we've talked about this. There are 5 really good teams in the league. It's going to be very, very tough. Looks like Reston Lehman just had a pick 6 for Peters Township. He's just phenomenal player as the Pitt recruit. And I'll tell you what, that is going to be a heck of a game September 27th when the Panthers travel to Peters Township to face the Indians. All right, Jacobo's now going to kick it off again. And he goes way deep into the end zone once again. Touchback for the Panthers. So, Alex, does Canon-Mac gain any sort of confidence, I guess, from the success they had on that drive? Or is it just, kind of miserable at the way it ended and the score being so out of hand at this point?
It was tough then, but it's going to hurt more tomorrow when they're reviewing the film just because they're going to see the 2 open guys. And the quick result on the X play by Sanderson, never easy to review that. And the coaches always say it's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is, but that one was tough.
Good to see the Coughlin family in the house here. Chris and Beth Ann Coughlin just entered the picture. Their son Peter was a star quarterback back in the day, also my point guard. They have joined us up here in the booth. Oh, they're going deep, and they got a man. It's Cimaroli. And D'Orazio got back in time. Because there's not a face guarding rule in high school football, that's probably fine. There was no contact, I don't think, but Alex seems to think it may have been close.
Well, that was close. I was getting a little bit nervous there, but he was a little bit late. Again, Canon-Mac just seems a little bit off. Jansma, he took that extra hitch, and by that point, the receiver was, 30, 40 yards down the field. D'Orazio, great play, making up for it. Obviously, great closing speed, but difficult to kind of wait.
Do you think that was a response to the guy being wide open the last time? The sideline probably told him. All right, it's the back again this time. Oh, big hit that time. Wow. Nevin Siniawaski just came up and leveled him. Coach Robbins told me about this kid. Just said he's just really tough. He just does his job, and boy, he can hit, man. He's not a big kid, but man, he laid the wood there. Great form tackle. So this is going to be about 3rd and 9, probably not what those Big Macs hoped here.
If I were a betting man, which I am very much not, Gavin, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe a turnover on this play, just trying to get the first down.
I'd chuck it down the field again. I'd try to – maybe they think our backs are cheating up. They've had guys open here a couple times. But I treat this like Madden, so – nope, they're going to throw a little screener to Calgaro. Oh, great job there. He got off the block beautifully there. Anthony Bunn, just really strong and stout there.
He's had a great night. He has really been the edge setter for Upper St. Clair for that defensive end outside linebacker position. It has not allowed Jansma, who's a very athletic kid, to get out of the pocket. It's prevented any kind of bubble screens because of the push that he's getting. Great night for him. Yeah, only a junior. He played a lot on special teams last year, not as much on the defensive end, but the bloodlines are good, and he's a really good athlete. Wow, Will Stoll almost got in there and blocked it, and as such, not a very good punt, and the Panthers are going to have it again in Canon-Mac territory. Important shout out here. Sam David. There we go.
Sam just had his right knee replaced. And he's always here. Nobody supports the programs more than Sam does. He's also the guy who makes sure our basketball court is spotless. Best at what he does. Great dude. Sam, we miss you, man. Can't wait to have you back. Heal well. Thanks for tuning in. You're my man.
And I think my wife Carissa's finally tuned in. She usually tries to catch the second half whenever we do this. Obviously, she has to tend to our 19-month-old, so shout out to Carissa.
Yeah, I'm hoping my kids are asleep, but the way Rooney slept this week, probably not. All right, so I should point out that Kenny Davis has not come back in the game yet. Jamie's doing a good job at left tackle, though, so good job from Jamie. Here's Luca Corey, the younger of the Corey brothers, the sophomore. Boy, good leg drive there. Got hit initially at maybe 3 or 4 yards down the field and carried the pile, got about 7 or 8.
Wouldn't be surprised to see St. Clair shift to the run, just try to get one more score to get that mercy rule going so the clock continues running. I think they're about 2 points away.
Yeah, they got tempo. They're going tempo here. That's going to be, looks like a first down, Luca Corey. The one thing you've got to know about the Corey brothers is, if you know them, they work crazy in the weight room, particularly on the lower half. Dante Corey's legs, his lower half is huge. So, Luca's getting there now. He's only a sophomore. He doesn't have as big a body yet. But those dudes work like crazy in the weight room. All right, first down Panthers. Big Mac 27. Hellman hands. It's Luca Corey. Big hole this time. And wow, gets about 8 or 9. Really nice work there. That looked like Grady Elias 65 and Big Ryan Robbins 78. Just gashing them along with Mason Geyer 70. Here, let's see it. Yeah, it was Ry Robbins. No, Chase Kazmarzik, 75. Great block. Oh, fake play action. What a dart. Touchdown again. Hellman, just every ball he throws is dead perfect. That's Logan Lipinski. Logan Lipinski making a big play on senior night, and my God, you just can't say enough good things about Ethan Hellman right now.
Awesome throw by Hellman. Got his shoulders down on the play action, hit the ball, and then threw a great level 2 glance route.
People don't think this about me, but I am sappy at heart, and I just love seeing all the seniors making these big plays on senior night. Logan Lipinski, good athlete, and does a nice job when his number was called, bringing that in. Big play for him. And Alex, the mercy rule is in effect. I have to admit, I did not expect this. Certainly not, mid-third quarter.
No, and even prior to the pass, which was set up by great running by Luca Corey, it was very encouraging to see St. Clair beginning to finish. There have been some games that we've seen in the past where they've let their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Now, obviously not to the point of losses, but there wasn't that finish. And I think with the senior leadership in the backfield with Dante Corey, obviously his brother, and then you have Josh Snyder, who's kind of the jack of all trades, they really look like they're finishing with some downhill running, which is going to be important in some of these tighter games. You mentioned how good the conference is.
Yeah, Cameron Smith, I should mention, the sophomore, got to get his first varsity rep as a kicker and nailed the extra point. So the Panthers lead 41-0. And, Alex, I think sometimes we take it for granted because as you look at the Panther student section, it looks like Fitz Beach night and outstanding crowd. I think sometimes we take it for granted how good this team's been the last several years, performances like this. And I just don't think you should. Opponent, quality, any of that stuff. How thorough, how sharp everything has been tonight.
It's been mistake-free football. And even when Canon-Mac began to sustain a drive, St. Clair made a play and stopped it in its tracks. And we were kind of complaining in the beginning of this broadcast that, St. Clair can't find the end zone. Obviously, they figured that out. So it's still week one, and they're still figuring things out. There have been a few injuries, but hopefully nothing too serious. But St. Clair's really developing their identity, and it's Ethan Hellman leading the charge.
Yeah, score from further out. That's what they did last week. No, I'm just kidding. Hellman, I feel like we've raved about it a lot, but it just, for me, the fact that everything is so accurate and so on time, it makes it hard to stop. It's not like guys are wide open every play. Yes, it appears like we're going to do a cut-in right now. All right, Jansma hands it off, and I think this is a different back in the game. I couldn't tell. That may have been 33 again, Bryce Collins, the bigger of the two backs. So, oh no, that's two. That's Lewis. So the ninth grader is playing now on both sides of the ball. This must be a really talented kid. They figure we're going to get him some reps. This is our future. He's good on the defensive backside for sure.
Yeah, made a few nice plays at corner.
Panthers still have largely their first-team defense in the game here. And you need to keep getting reps. This is Lewis again. Nice job making a guy miss. Banbury was in the backfield there, but he couldn't quite get him to the ground. But Will Stoll, among others, host of Panthers, getting him to the ground before he got too much, maybe a gain of 1 or 2. But going to be third and longish again, 5 or 6.
And I loved how concentrated the St. Clair defense was on that play. There was just pure gang tackling. Obviously, Lewis, very talented ninth grader, but you don't want him to get loose and come in and make a big play. And great job by all of the defenders running to the ball.
Yeah, he looks really shifty, too. He's one of those jitterbug-type guys. So, you miss him, and he could go. All right, this is going to be 4 receivers again here. Going to try to go to the passing game. Got to watch for Sabatucci. Jansma's looking. He's got running out of time here. Grady Elias almost gets him. Will Stoll is chasing him now. He's going to throw down the field. He's got a guy, but Nico D'Orazio catches it on the sidelines. He had a man, 25, Brian Schmeltz. Couldn't quite get it to him, and it's going to be another Big Mac punt. Just, Alex, they just can't seem to get any consistency going in the passing game.
No, and Jansma's had a really tough night. Maybe not all of it's his fault, and probably the majority of it isn't. We saw him force one ball earlier, but he just really hasn't been comfortable, hasn't had the time to get comfortable, and the play calling has been inefficient in my mind and not a ton of urgency. So tough to get into a rhythm when you have that going on.
Yeah, boy, and it doesn't get any easier for them in 6A, so. Short punt this time. Oh, nice little move, wow. Going right up the middle there, a nice return. That's Andrew Gaither, the sophomore. So I'm happy for Gaith. Gaith's going to be a big-time contributor on the basketball team this season as a sophomore. His brother, Matthew, was a excellent player, first-team all-section for us. But Andrew Gaither is a great kid, and I know they're really excited about him because, Gaith he's really into hoops. And I always tell him, Gaith, you're the man of football too, man. Go out and enjoy this. Don't worry about hoops. And he had a great game in the JV last week. Had a pick six in front of all his teammates we were watching. Gaith's the man. So good work for Andrew. All right, now it looks like we got some subs here on the offensive side of the ball. So maybe some other seniors. Max Nofi's in the game. Charter Chujnicki's in the game here out wide. So you're gotta get some other guys the ball here, maybe, Alex. This is Snyder, I think. Yeah, it's Josh. Nice move from Snyder. Gets about 9. Alex, he's been really impressive running the football in terms of just finding his holes and navigating it.
He has, and he's been very patient. It hasn't been, okay, this is my chance, I'm going to get the ball and run without purpose. He's set up his blockers in a great way, especially running in between the tackles.
So that's going to be the end of the third quarter here. Panthers lead 41-0. The mercy rule is in effect. It'll probably be a pretty quick fourth quarter.
What a man. Maybe haven't had the chances prior to the touchdowns. It's a pretty special night for him.
Yeah, I always think senior night is really special. I don't think people sometimes realize how special it is. As a coach, I absolutely realize it. And, the kids really treasure that. So to score a touchdown on senior night is something you will really remember the rest of your life. We had a couple of our seniors play as much this year. Nights on senior night for us. And it was really, really special.
Credit to the Canon-McMillan section. They're still all there.
I've always thought it was just really fun to be part of the senior section, and so it never made sense to me to leave early. I was at the game having a blast, losing my mind. It never occurred to me to leave early. The game was fun, but it's not as common in this day and age.
Right. So, Gavin, I know St. Clair's up 41 going into the fourth quarter, but I would really like to see Snyder take control of the offense through the air. Obviously, we know he can run. He's a downhill runner, very talented runner, great athlete, but would like to see him throw the ball.
Yeah, I would too. All right, but they're going to get a run here. Nice tackle. Max Ligier, who's the he did some really good work in the JV game at the tailback spot last Saturday against Mount Lebanon in their dominant victory, and it's nice to see him get some touches in here. I guess looking ahead, Alex, you have Franklin Regional away next week, not probably a huge threat. Hampton the week after at home, probably even less of a threat. McKeesport on the 19th, assuming Keemon Spell is back healthy, is the game you're really sort of trying to trend towards. Oh, they're going to throw it. Here we go. Here's Snyder. Well, now he's going to take off. Boy, he put his foot in the ground. What a cut. Here he goes to the outside. Snyder's got a lot of room. Razzo's doing a good job blocking for him. Josh is going to get all the way in for a Panther. Oh, no, they called him out of bounds. Boy, I did not see his foot step out of bounds, but he's going to get a gain of about 21 out of bounds at the 3. Boy, Josh Snyder's just so talented and athletic. If you just watch him dance out of these tackles, look at that move.
And there's going to be a big-time role for him down the road, especially when they get into the meat of their schedule. And if you're a team and you're watching this game, who are you going to key on? You're going to key on DeRazio. You're going to key on Ethan Hellman. Where does Josh step in as that change of pace?
Yeah, and kudos to Coach Junko for understanding you have a real high-caliber athlete. Let's, find a way to use him. Sammy Bunn, number 25 in the game, the freshman. Here's Max is fighting towards the goal. Can they push him across the line? The O-line is pushing hard. Could not quite get him to the goal line, but good hard run. Gets down to about the very close inside the 1, it looks like. Still got the first-team offensive line in, so, those guys are still really surging. A couple subs in there. Ben Bales, number 77, is in subbing at one of the tackles positions. It looks like Dylan Bodner is in at center. But Elias, Kaczmarzyk, and Robbins still in the game. There's Max. Can he get to the goal line? Boy, no signal yet. Looks like he's short, down just before the goal line. Looked like he may have been in there, but you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt here.
Tough spot. That's a tough spot.
All right, 3rd and 1 now. Either way, the time's going to roll, so it doesn't really hurt you, but you'd like to see Max get a touch here, man. All right, 3rd and 1 here. Snyder's in easily. Nice little misdirection. Get across. Goes behind Ed. Colin Green, the senior tight end, in the action there, pulling. And easy does it for the Panthers. They move it to 47 with the extra point pending. And they've just done just about everything they've wanted to tonight, Alex.
Yeah,
Jacobo's back in. All right. Good snap from Jamie Gardner. Has not stopped his excellent snapping just because he's been thrust into full-time tackle duty. Still doing a great job. I was trying to look down there to see if I saw Kenny Davis. I don't. Really hopeful that he's doing okay.
So we'll probably start seeing Canon-Mac sort of platoon, maybe their younger guys, less experienced players in. Just because at this point, mercy rule, 9 minutes left, down 48-0. Might as well get some younger guys some experience.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Alex. You have to take advantage of any sort of full reps you can get. These are live reps, and you just never know. I mean, we've already seen way too many injuries, unfortunately. So unfortunately, those things happen, and you've got to have guys ready. Next man up mentality. Everybody talks about it, and it's you got to keep seeing it. So might as well take advantage of these reps now. This is Smith kicking off. Good kickoff inside the 10. Big Macs are bringing it out here. They got a gap here. And Luca Corey, along with Alex Paranek, gets them to the ground. But, pretty good. Definitely the best field position from the Big Macs tonight, out to about the 40-yard line.
And yes, the game is out of reach, Gavin, but you know that the St. Clair coaches are preaching shutout, 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 finish. That's kind of the mantra of this team, is to finish. They did a great job of that on offense. Now let's see if they can contain Canon-Mac offense on defense. That's
the same stuff we talk about, Alex. We had a lot of mercy rule games this year, having the team we had, but that's exactly what we talked about. And it's super important, in my opinion, to, it's the way you leave it. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth if the drop-off comes. So they got a backup quarterback in the game. Does the Big Macs. Got some backups in the game as well. This is number 12, Mason Orsini. He hands off to Jordan Davis, another 9th grader in the backfield, number 23. And good hit from the Panthers there. Some good work on the defense there. So you don't see you do not see Chase Kaczmarzyk or any of the first team defenders, and you're seeing a lot of the subs on the line here. Ben Bales, 77, is at the nose. We got 87, Jake Gillespie, Brock Gillespie's younger brother, in here at defensive end. And 44, Tyler Palusis, the junior. So, getting some subs in here, Alex. Handoff comes. Good job. That is Gillespie. Did a really nice job making the tackle there. And Benny Spatz, number 90, another senior, does a really nice job. That's 2 tackles in a row for Benny Spatz.
And one thing I've noticed, Gavin, just taking a look at this Canon-Mac roster, there are many freshmen on this roster. So even, like you said, the game's out of reach, but these are live reps. And so this team might be a team that in 2-3 years has really ascended because of the experience that these young kids have gotten.
I think that's the goal. I mean, you always say you win with upperclassmen, you lose with underclassmen. All right, another man in motion here. 3rd and 6 for the Big Macs. They fake. It's a rollout. He's got that man. See, that's the pass that's been there. That's the slot pass, and they get it. Braden Bobitsky, another freshman, makes the play. Carter Judge-Nicky makes the tackle number 3, but not before the Big Macs get a first down. Alex, it's so interesting that's the one that's sort of the check down we've been talking about.
Yeah, nice ball by Orsini. Threw it right where his receiver could catch it in stride and continue up the field.
Yeah, Panthers got some other guys in the game here. Marcus Mamana, number 26. It's another great family here. Colin Green, number 48, another senior, and his mom, Nora, graduated a couple years after me. Nora Kavanaugh Green, friend of mine from high school, so shout out to the Greens. Orsini gives it here. It's the 9th grader again, and number 23, Jordan Davis, gets about 2, but Gillespie again, along with Pelusis, brings him to the ground. And now Dylan Bodner, 62, is subbing in at the nose position. And Ray Lidstrom. Ray Lidstrom deserves a lot of credit. He's in at safety. He did a phenomenal job singing the national anthem. I mean, really outstanding. All right, fakes the handoff. Another good ball. Another simple pass. Throws outside. Finds Bailey Gibson, the tight end. First down, Big Macs. All right, we're going to do a little check-in here now with some scores, some highlights from some other places.
Marcus Mamana.
So here's some of the stuff we've seen, how we got to this point. Obviously, it's been fairly one-sided. First, it was the Panthers settling for 3, but Jacobo true on 3 field goals early in the game. That was the longest, from about 38, and that put the Panthers up 9-0. Then they had a really good drive after a punt return. That is Dante Corey, the senior, getting it across the goal line to make it 16-0. And this was really the dagger here. Hellman rolling right. Just a beautiful throw to Drew Sanderson right before halftime. And that was a big, important play. And then this one kind of put it away. Alex talked about this. Had the slot guy running off of the out route, and Drew Sanderson, then he just right through the tackle of Cimaroli. Big play for the end zone. You know, and it's been really impressive how Ethan has thrown the ball and how many big plays they have gotten in the passing game. And there was Logan Lipinski kind of putting that one in the end zone. And the last touchdown to get us to 48, this is Josh Schneider, and he is across, no problem there for the Panther touchdown. Let's send it back to Susie Cool. All right, back to the action here, and it's still sort of ugly here. The Panthers are winning big here over the Big Macs, but again, don't want to give any less love to these guys who are in playing their tails off, trying to finish this one for the Panthers, particularly with 0 points scored.
Well, it looks like Canon-McMillan's driving, so hopefully the Panthers can put the squeeze on.
Yeah, 3rd and 5. Oh, they get it to the big fullback up the middle. Pelusis did a good job getting off his block on the end and stopping him short of the first down mark, but we've got probably, about 4th and 2 here, Alex, and obviously the Big Macs are going.
Yeah, at this point, you really have nothing to lose. Hopefully St. Clair can stop him. And Gavin, I think on the sideline, I'm seeing Kenny Davis in crutches. So hopefully he heals up quick.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the day you commit to college, hope it's nothing long term. 4th and 2. Can the Panthers get a big stop here and turn them over on downs? They're going straight ahead, the Big Macs are, and they do not get it. Tyler Pelusis, 44, sticks into the hole along with Colin Green, number 48, the senior. Great stuff from the Panthers, and it looks like the shutout will hold, Alex.
And that's got to be a great feeling for them, too. Those kids not necessarily getting the most reps in during the week, getting their chance Friday Night Lights, making a big stop to maintain the shutout.
Yeah, I'm really happy for, and there's some seniors in there as well. Confidence is tricky. If you know this, I've been coaching young athletes a long time. Confidence is tricky. Okay, they had a big game last week. What do you do for an encore? What do you and then momentum can sort of change quickly. And so I've just been really, really impressed. It's just been a mature, thorough effort from the Panthers tonight.
And it looks like Ray Lindstrom's in at QB.
The man can sing. He can also play quarterback. He's rolling right. He's got some space here. He turns it up. Good tackle there, but it's good to see Ray on the field and getting some action here as we head with about a minute left in this football game. So, Alex, as we wind down here and the game ends, what would you say your main takeaways from tonight? Is there stuff, what can we take away from this?
I think St. Clair looked very sound in all three aspects of the game. We were mentioning couldn't find the end zone early, but if you don't have a sound field goal operation, you don't get that 9-0 lead right out of the gate. And so I think consistency is going to remain St. Clair's big calling card. They have a lot of experience, both in all three phases of the game. So long as they can maintain that consistency, I think they'll go a long way.
Yeah, and you have a couple games here, if things play out the way I think they play out, where you got 2 more weeks before I think it gets real. And I'm not even talking about non-conference. They have 3 more non-conference games after this, so okay. And then everything in the conference minus maybe Baldwin is hard. So, it's just nice to see in week 1 we're talking about a team that looks polished, looks like a closer to a finished product. Really impressive stuff. All right, so that wraps it up from Panther Stadium. Alex, first of all, I want to wish you a very good luck. Alex has his second child on the way in about a week. I can only tell you from my own experience, the second child can be a doozy. But I want to wish you and your wife the very best of luck with that. Thank you for joining me tonight. It is always fabulous to have you up next to me. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Gav. It's always a pleasure. This is the only time I say that I can talk about football for 2-3 straight hours without anyone telling me to stop. So thank you again for having me.
Yeah, they tell me to shut up in the house all the time. Thank you to our JRM production folks. We're going to be here all year. Hopefully we'll continue to have this type of high-quality coverage. And it's just been a huge, huge blessing. Final score, Panthers 48, Canon-McMillan nothing. We'll take you out with highlights, and we will see you 2 weeks from now against Hampton.